Meeting to order.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to convene as Walworth County Planning and Zoning Board. Is there any old business? New business?
Hearing none, I'll move for adjournment.
Okay, I got a motion on the floor. I need a second. A second. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion passed. I'd like to convene as Walworth County Board of Zoning Adjustment. Is there any old business? New business?
Hearing none, I'll move for adjournment.
Okay, I got a motion on the floor. I need a second. Got a second. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion passed. I want to convene as Board of County Commissioners. Just before public forum, I'm just gonna say, I talked to the state. You will get, if people seem to be talking out there all the time, I will give you a warning. And the second one, you will be asked to leave. So, public forum, Carolyn?
Good morning, thank you. Have you had a chance to listen to the last meeting?
Oh, I heard you.
I was coughing, I was not talking. And if you need, I can bring people forth that I sat by that I was not talking, I was coughing. I have asthma, and I have asthmatic bronchitis. And so I just wanted to clear that up with you, because I get teased about it all the time. And, has it been posted? Has that last meeting been posted?
No.
What's the problem?
Well, first of all, it's the county assistant's job, and we don't have one right now.
And there's
Second,
nobody else here smart enough to know how to do it?
Carolyn?
excuse me,
I
Carolyn?
just wondered if,
maybe you are, Carolyn.
no, I don't, I'm not looking for a job. And I was wondering
Obviously you are.
also, I was also, wondering, I was visiting with Terry Madden the other day, and he said he hasn't had a contract with Jensen Rock and Sand in 2, 3, 4 years. So I wasn't sure what that was about.
Carolyn, what are you talking about?
Oh, well, last time you said something about, you talked to Terry Madden about Jensen Rock and Sand helping and whatever, and he said we haven't even had a contract with them.
You wanna know something, Carolyn? Jamie, I don't even know what you're talking about, Carolyn, because it wasn't that, it was Logan Electric.
Oh, it
It
was,
wasn't Jensen's. It's
Jensen's
Logan.
not electric, but,
No, Logan does all sorts of things. I was talking about Campbell County with culverts. I wasn't talking about anything else, so we're gonna move on. I do know what I
Okay.
said, Carolyn.
okay.
Linda Beeman.
This is to address the board, because I was denied having anything on the agenda. And I
Okay,
don't
I
feel,
will state that, why that you were denied, because Jamie kind of misinformed you. I've talked to the state about this.
Who did you talk to, Scott?
I talked to, actually, Director of South Dakota Commissioners,
Who is that?
Chris,
Chris who?
which Linda you talked to.
yes, I did.
And then what did she tell you?
I'm not sure as far as
Well, I do,
specifically.
because I was sitting on the
What's
phone.
Chris's last name?
Jacobson. She told you the same thing, Linda.
Oh, she did.
What did she specifically
did.
say?
She said that, no, you can't.
No one can be, has to be put on the commissioner's agenda?
No, they can be denied.
By
You
who?
don't have to.
They can be
let-
denied by who?
You don't have to, the commission can deny it, the chair
But-
can,
The chair can deny the,
yes.
okay? And what if another commissioner wants to put something on? The chair can also deny that?
Well, you can put it on, yeah. But
The chair
within
can deny
reason.
it or not?
Can he?
Yes.
He could.
Is that a yes or a no?
That's a no.
Because it's my understanding the commissioner,
Jim
Houck
Houck
asked to
said,
put something on,
asked to put Linda Beeman on.
and you said no.
I'm not gonna put Linda Beeman's on 17 things.
That's why we're having the problems that we're having now, Scott.
You kinda misinformed a little bit, Jamie.
Well, I think I will talk to Chris Jacobson, and I will have an answer for you. But I just wanna make clear that the chair can deny whomever to be on the agenda.
Read Robert's rule.
I've read it probably as much as you have.
I'm sure you have.
All I'm saying is when you deny the people the right to speak and address the county commission, all it does is have further implications that you guys are doing improper things. That's why we have all these people here. That's all I have to say. I just disagree with the way you're conducting your meetings. That's all I have to say.
That's fine.
I still am gonna read my statement I have. I went to the auditor's office with specific items to be added to the agenda and I was denied. I went on Friday, May 17th of 2019, in the morning to have my items placed on the agenda. The auditor informed me that she was going to give it to the state's attorney because he gives legal advice and that he would be contacting me. I asked for my agenda item paper to be time-stamped and signed, but she refused. I stopped in to talk to the state's attorney and found out that he was on vacation. I then returned to the auditor's office and asked how he was going to look at the list of agenda items since he was on vacation, and the auditor said that he will be here on Monday. The agenda gets posted at 9 a.m. on Monday. The auditor told me the commissioners control the agenda, not the public, and that the public forum is for public speaking. Mr. Hare informed us at the last meeting that I could add items to the agenda, and the auditor told me that is why Jamie is handling it now. She said she would try to get a hold of him by Monday, and if not, it was up to the chair if my items would be put on the agenda. I asked if she put items on the agenda, and she said, yes, I do. But I put on what my chair tells me to put on. She did say I could contact Stubby if I wanted to, but at this point, Jamie is handling your part of this because of what he told you at the meeting. I don't believe he advised you correctly. I then asked what if someone brings in an agenda item, and I was told it was up to the board, and she has to contact the chairman in order to put it on the agenda. I asked, and she said that is how this has been done in the past. I returned at approximately 1:45 p.m. to again request that the auditor timestamp the items I was requesting to be added to the agenda, but the auditor was not there and the deputy stated she could not do it. I went to the state's attorney's office and the secretary dated, timestamped, and signed my paper. Later in the day, Mr. Houck called and said he had requested that I be put on the agenda. Apparently his request was also denied. I did not hear anything from the state's attorney or the auditor before the agenda was released, and my agenda items were not included. I would like the chairman to inform me as to the proper procedure to follow so that in the future the public will know exactly what to do in order to add items to the agenda for discussion. I would also like the chairman to inform me just how an agenda is established and who has the right to include these items.
The commissioners do it. The commissioners can vote 2/3 if you want something removed off there or added to the agenda.
And when do you do the voting?
You can do it right now.
So exactly how do you establish the agenda? Who makes up the agenda?
Whoever wants something on the agenda. Yes, Jamie,
How do you vote if something's not even put on?
you can. Read it.
If she I know that you can vote to remove something from the agenda, but
And you
how?
can add.
And so, if she asks to be put on the agenda and you vote to deny it before you even have the meeting, how do you do your 2/3 vote
You do it right now. You can do it right now.
to put her on the agenda?
Put her on or not put her on.
We could add at the beginning of the agenda to approve the agenda, if that's what you guys wanna do.
But it takes 2/3 of the vote of the commission.
To remove or add,
Correct.
that's right. But if she's requesting last week, why would you not put her on?
I'm not gonna put somebody on for 17 more items onto the commission,
Okay, I
to
guess
the agenda.
you're free to do what you want.
It is, I mean, what is the?
You don't have
person-
to answer anymore, I'm done, so.
Well, you check it out.
All I'm saying is that's why you have the crowd here, is because people don't trust you. All you're doing is making them not trust you more.
There's nothing not to be trustworthy about this. The state told me exactly how to do it. They said if you don't, just come down to our meeting.
All I'm saying is this is why you have this problem, is people don't trust you.
Yes.
My agenda items, I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 agenda items with bullet points underneath what I was going to discuss.
That's 17.
These are mine. This was the discussion I was gonna have. I clarified it so the board would know exactly what I was going to bring up at the time.
They're not listening to me, so
Okay.
I think it doesn't really matter, I guess.
Okay.
In my opinion, we are here to conduct government business, county business. This is not a public hearing. It is, we are here to conduct business to run the county. It's
And-
not a public hearing. There's a big difference between a public hearing and a public meeting.
So when are the taskers able to ask questions
That's why
of
you
what's being
have,
conducted?
that's why you have people in your, that we are elected for. Contact your representative and have him voice it in the open meeting.
I have contacted commissioners in the past and get different answers when I'm on the phone than I do in public.
I get calls all the time. And I bring up all the concerns that I get calls on.
Well, I have concerns that weren't brought up, or concerns that are being discussed. That's why I would like to be able to speak during the meeting.
Well, then you should have ran for it.
I don't think you should have to run for office if you have questions. Okay. According to the South Dakota Codified Law, 1-27-1.16, material relating to open meeting agenda items need to be available for the public before the meeting. That's everything that you receive for the meeting.
I can provide that to you.
Okay, that should be provided for the public to view those.
If the public wants it, they can ask for it. It's that simple.
No. Would you like to read the codified law?
It's public forum
I know,
for
but I'm saying if they want it, they can.
room
they
to
can-
elected officials.
Please read it out loud so everybody can hear it.
Material relating to open meeting agenda item is, agenda item is to be available exceptions, violation as misdemeanor. If a meeting is required to be open to the public, to the 125-1, if any printed material relating to an agenda item of the meeting is prepared, is distributed by, or the discretion of the governing body and its employees, and printed material is distributed before the meeting to all members of the governing body, the material shall either be posted on the governing body website or made available at the official business office of the governing body to at least 24-hour periods of the meeting or at the time of the material to be distributed of the governing body, whichever is later. If the material is not posted to be the governing body's website, at least one copy of the printed material shall be available in the meeting room for inspection by any person while the governing body is considering the printed material. Or the provisions of this section do not apply to any printed material or record that is specially exempt from disclosure under the provisions of this chapter, or any printed material or record regarding the agenda item of an executive or closed meeting held in accordance with 125-2. A violation of this section is a Class 2 misdemeanor. However, the provisions of this section do not apply to printed material, records, exhibits involving contested case proceedings held in accordance with provisions of Chapter 126.
No material has been denied to you if you would like any of it. It's right
It
there in
doesn't say
that
that I
office.
have to request it, it says it's supposed to be available. That means that a copy of everything should be made available someplace, either there or out there for the public to view before the meeting.
Here. It's available.
Yes, Jamie,
Shall means must, so you didn't follow your rules.
what's that?
Shall means must be made available. You have to make them available, so, I'm just telling you
She
that's what.
requested the claims, I gave her the claims. If she requested anything else, I mean, I'll have it stacked up right there next meeting.
She's just pointing out the fact that you weren't following the rules, and she's correct.
Well, of course, but I mean, if anybody wants it, most people sit and ask for it.
The point is she's referring to the statute. The statute says shall, which means must. It means that you've gotta put this stuff out. You haven't been doing it, she's pointing it out, you don't need to argue with her.
And it can be corrected.
That's correct, but I'm saying is why fight with her when she's pointing out that we're not doing things right?
You can even ask Davis, I told him, I said, whatever's in front of you is public to anybody.
The
Anybody
point
can have it.
is that the statute says that you have to put it out. You're missing the point. She's making the point, and you're just trying to
It will
fight
be
over
out.
it. That's all you had to say.
I'm here today questioning the process that was used to do an extended warranty on the 2014 motor grader.
That will be done in just, he'll be here, you've seen the agenda.
I did see the agenda, but I'm not allowed to speak during the agenda, so I need to say what I need
Okay.
to say during public forum.
Go ahead.
If I was allowed to speak on the agenda, maybe my questions, concerns would be covered at that time. I don't know, so I have to bring these things before the board now.
Go ahead.
This was the last of the 5-year contracts and was in the 2019 budget to be replaced. By extending this warranty, we now have 2 blades coming due in 2021. So how does that save the county money? The warranty was ending on February 26, 2019. Why was the extended warranty signed on January 29, 2019, when there was a commission meeting scheduled for February 5, 2019, 1 week later? This would have given the full board time for discussion and a vote on the issue, providing it was on the agenda to do so. Instead, it was done outside of a board meeting with not the chairperson, but the county auditor signing the contract. Who authorized the auditor to sign this if the board had not discussed it? The board never voted to approve the extended warranty. It was listed on the claims at the February 5th meeting, and because the board approved the claims, the state's attorney said it was okay. This is very concerning to me as a taxpayer, if the commission can just vote on a claim to do county business. So am I to assume that this is the process the commission will use in the future to decide important matters for the county?
Well, I'll answer that like I answered it to you before. I called Jim. Jim knows I called him.
Absolutely, but we did not discuss it in our meeting. That's what the law says.
Jim, we discussed it.
What does the law say, Scott? Scott, it says we gotta do it in this meeting. We can talk outside all we want. You gotta do it in this meeting, open meeting.
We had to do it before we didn't have any warranty on that blade. We did it so that we had warranty on that blade.
That's
It was
not what the
running
law
out.
says.
Scott, the warranty ran out February 26th, in 2019. February 26th.
Mhm.
You signed it on January 29th, and you had a board meeting scheduled for February 5th. Why wasn't it done then? That's when the claims went through. Why couldn't you brought it before the board and discussed it and voted on it then?
Because I figured we talked it over and it should have been fine.
No, it needs to be a board decision, a board of 5.
Well, 4 of them did it.
Doesn't matter, it wasn't done at a board meeting. That's what open meetings rules are for.
Okay, move on.
Concerning the landfill, who authorized this position to be advertised for just 2 weeks? It wasn't even on the county website. Anyone checking the website would be misinformed of many of the categories that they have not been updated for quite some time. Whose responsibility would this be?
Ryan advertised for that position.
No, I'm talking about doing the website, the county website.
Ryan did all that.
No, the website, I add stuff too, but
Well,
Ryan's the
but I
one who
meant-
posted the agenda,
Came up with it.
the ad.
No, I'm talking about the website itself. The directory is not updated. In the employment, only thing that was ever listed there was the highway superintendent. We didn't have the landfill supervisor listed there. The veteran service officer is not listed there. And that's where people go to check for employment in the county. I would think those should be listed on there also. So who was on the hiring committee for the landfill? Is that public knowledge?
Why do I have to tell you all this stuff like that? I said, I'm going to, you are. There's a committee, just like I told you, for everything. It's been forever. Committees do stuff.
So when was this hiring committee formed?
It's at the beginning of the year, when whoever is the chairperson sets the committees together.
Those are board assignments at the beginning of the year. They're
The
not stated as
chairperson
being-
does that.
Yes, the chairperson does board assignments. They're not hiring committees. On the agenda today, you have the veteran service officer and you're going to appoint a board. So what's the board going to be for?
To hire him,
Right, so
to
you're appointing,
recommend him to the commission.
you're appointing a board today.
It's because there isn't one for that.
So, okay, who was on the landfill one?
Those people were all chose. That's why.
Can you tell me whose names they are?
You know, I don't think that I gotta keep answering every question to you.
You said who's ever on those committees, as far as I can see, going back and look at
That committee is all printed out,
the
who
board.
were- who they were.
On the board assignments, I only see one name for landfill. So who would the committee be? Is it a committee of one?
I told you, I'm not gonna keep answering all these questions of yours that absolutely is crazy.
Well, why is it crazy? There's one person listed as on the landfill, so is it a committee of one then?
Absolutely not.
So who is on the committee? Would another commissioner care to answer that question?
Anybody can answer it if they want to.
So I assume nobody else would like to
I
answer
was
it?
not. I don't know.
There was only one application previous.
Truthfully, the whole commission was that committee.
Pardon?
The whole commission was that committee, if you really wanna know. There
The
was
whole-
only one application,
The whole commission?
cause there was none. There was no committee. There was only one application. We discussed it in this meeting. You were here.
There was an application handed in at that meeting.
Well, it's gonna, just like I said before, if somebody brings an envelope in here and doesn't tell me what it's for, why would I open it?
I
Mr.
did-
Houk,
I
what
told
did
you
you
what
tell
it was
him?
for. It was an application for landfill supervisor.
You never said anything, Jim.
Better go back and listen to tape.
Well,
When you
You
said I
said
had,
it, I
I
did
said
not
I have
hear it.
another
I can tell you that.
application.
I absolutely
That was
never heard
handed
you
to-
say a word
That
about
was
that.
handed to you.
You handed me a very blank envelope. And I've never seen any application or anything. And an application doesn't come to us. It goes into that office.
As I understand, it didn't say on the ad where to hand it in, so they handed it to me on my way in here.
Well, you did not say what it was for. I'm not gonna open up an envelope if I don't have a clue what it is. Why would I?
Are you sure you didn't know it was an application?
I know it wasn't, huh? How would I know what it was? I didn't open it till after the meeting. How would I
Mr.
know?
Houk told you it was an application,
Well, if he said it, then I absolutely did not hear him.
and you even acknowledged at the next meeting that it was an application.
I knew it after the meeting. I did not open that envelope. I know I didn't. After the meeting, it was opened.
Okay, so how would you know that it was an application for landfill and highway superintendent?
I said after the meeting, I opened it. What else would it be?
You just said you hadn't opened the letter.
I said after the meeting.
So why would you wait till after the meeting and then have all this
Because
decided?
it doesn't matter to me what that envelope was during the meeting.
The time the application was handed in, it had not, you had not stated on there that we were only gonna advertise for 2 weeks and not accept any more applications. So as far as anybody applying for the job,
Can we move on?
What?
can I continue?
Well, you're gonna continue only for a few more minutes.
Okay.
You've already had about 25.
Well, you had to answer the questions at the beginning, so. A wage was set for the landfill supervisor at the last meeting when it was, and it is now, an interim landfill supervisor. So how can you set a wage as landfill supervisor on the agenda when it needed to be an interim landfill supervisor? We just spent 9 weeks trying to correct the mistake of hiring a highway secretary without a position, and now we're doing the same thing again.
I don't see where what we are doing with the landfill is wrong.
On the agenda, it said landfill supervisor wage.
Okay,
At this point in time, it's an interim landfill supervisor, so the wage should have been set for an interim landfill supervisor. If you're gonna do things correct, that's how it should be done. Am I right, Mr. Mayor?
You're right.
we're setting a wage for it. I guess I'm not following what you're getting at, I guess. It's a wage that got set for that, for that position.
Interim landfill supervisor.
I guess call it what you want to call it. I mean, you gotta have a
I-
wage set for it.
I did not call it interim landfill supervisor. That was the motion that Mr. Schlomer made. Am I correct?
I made motion, yes.
For interim landfill supervisor to be hired, and then you made a motion as landfill supervisor wage.
I guess you're losing me what this is about.
You can only do things that are on the agenda. You did not have interim landfill supervisor wage on the agenda at the last meeting. Did you?
It was landfill supervisor.
So our auditor is now the landfill supervisor and not an interim landfill supervisor?
We said it right in the meeting that it's gonna be 3 months and see how it goes. And we'll move on from there.
So she
It
was
works
appointed
enough.
as an interim landfill supervisor and now it's landfill supervisor?
I guess Mr. Chairman, I'm a little bit confused there. As far as I'm concerned, the motion was made for the salary for $12,000 on an annual basis. To try the auditors in that position as the landfill supervisor on an interim basis to see if this is going to work for her. Where she can handle both the landfill supervisor and also the auditor's office. And we were going to do this for 3 months, $1,000 a month. I'm not sure what the big deal is over this interim / supervisor, whatever you want to call it. We were trying this as a position to try this for 3 months. If it works, absolutely wonderful. If it doesn't work, we re-advertise, we start looking for a landfill supervisor.
So it's no longer an interim landfill supervisor position then?
I guess I'm not sure if I'm understanding. The interim to me is it's a position that's filling in for 3 months or whatever that time frame is, we're filling it in. Maybe I'm not smart enough to understand the difference between interim and a short term or whatever, but to me, it's a position that we're filling in for a time frame until see if it's gonna work. I'm not sure what the problem is, if the problem is the fact that we agreed on a salary of $1,000 a month, or what the deal is, but, I mean, we're talking about a huge savings to the county of Walworth County.
I'm not questioning the dollar amount, and I'm not questioning the person that's there, I'm questioning the process that you're using. If it's said that it had to be stated as an agenda item, am I wrong, Mr. Hare?
I would have to look to make sure what was on the agenda. I don't remember, to be honest.
Oh, let's move on, Linda. If you got something else,
Yeah, I have another. The revenue source has been cut at the county jail, and there was no plan B in place if the people voted down the $10.5 million jail. It's been almost 6 months since the vote, and the commission is no closer to a solution according to what is being discussed at a commission meeting. Why is the jail no longer allowed to house U.S. Marshal prisoners after the marshals inspect the facility and agree it is okay? It was stated by a commissioner that the revenue from the U.S. Marshals wasn't that much. Well, in 2018, U.S. Marshals were billed out $123,630. I would consider that a large amount of money, and it certainly would help alleviate some of the tax obligation to the county. In 2017, revenue at the jail that was billed out to U.S. Marshals, BIA, DOC, and out of county was $452,095. And in 2018, it was $311,530. So I asked the question again, why are we not housing these prisoners?
This was discussed many times in our meetings already. I don't think we need to discuss it right now.
that was voted on, I don't understand why we're talking about that. That was voted on in this meeting.
So I'm asking the question again, why we're not housing them?
I just told you the answer. It was voted on.
I know
not
you,
to.
okay. You vote on it, but you never have discussions at the meeting, so that's why I'm here asking the question today.
It was discussed in length in here
Just recently?
many times.
No, just recently. The sheriff approached you at the, was the last meeting or the meeting before about it. So when it comes to public forum, are we allowed to ask, discuss anything at the meetings, or are we limited?
You're limited to what's on the agenda. That is exactly how it's supposed to be done.
Okay, do you have your agenda in front of you?
I do, but
Would you-
Linda, how much time do you want me to give you? 1 or 2 hours?
No? I have 5 minutes, if you want me to quit, then tell me, and I
I
have,
would just soon you quit, because we could sit here for another hour.
okay. Can you give me your 5 minutes?
Yeah, you got mine if you want.
No, I am not allowing that.
Okay, so I would like you to read the bottom of your agenda, when it says public forum, please read that out loud.
The public forum visitors section offers the opportunity for anyone not listed on the agenda to speak to the commission concerning important topics. This time will be limited to 5 minutes in length,
Okay,
okay? What do you,
offers the opportunity for anyone not listed on the agenda to speak to the commission concerning important topics. It doesn't say agenda items. So you're not gonna follow this? You're making up the rules as we go along?
go by Robert's rules.
Point of order.
We'll tell you. Dale, did you have something to say? You're on this.
No, I changed my mind, thanks.
Anybody else have anything? Has everybody, we'll move on to 13. Has everybody got a chance to look at the minutes of the May 7th, 2019 meeting? If so, I take a motion.
I so move.
They got a motion on the floor. I need a second. Got a second. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Right?
Opposed, say nay. Motion passed. Has everybody had a chance to look at the claims?
I move for approval.
Okay, got a motion on the floor. I need a second.
I'll second it.
Got a second. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion passed. Okay, we'll move on to, consider motion to adopt resolution 2019-07. Resolution to approve franchise for Camwell Electric.
I filed an application, gentlemen, on behalf of Camwell. It's a franchise application. What it is this. Under the franchise laws. Camwell can apply for a franchise with the county, and a franchise is essentially permission for Camwell to put lines, be it overhead or buried, in the county right away. And the franchise is good for a period of 20 years. We've had them all in the past. This is just a renewal is what this one is. And so I'm just asking that you approve, I supplied the resolution, just asking that you approve the resolution and allow them to maintain and upgrade their overhead and underground lines in the county right of ways. And for what it's worth, we've done it for Campbell, Walworth, Potter, Sully, Falk. I'm missing one, McPherson.
I so move.
Okay, I gotta read this first though.
Oh,
Canwall Electric Cooperative Incorporated, a rural electric cooperative on May 21st, 2019, filed with the county auditor of the county of Walworth, state of South Dakota, is duly verified position for the purpose of obtaining and acquiring one franchise for both existing and planned extension, upgrades, and modification of said system for Walworth County, South Dakota, by and through its county commissions for the right to direct and continue to maintain poles, wires, cables, conduit, both above and below ground, the necessary for the purpose of conducting electricity for the lighting, heating, power purposes along, upon, under, and across publicly owned land and public thoroughfares, including all roads, highways, streets, alleys, bridges, causeways in the county of Walworth, state of South Dakota, for franchise for both existing distribution system and the planned extension, upgrades, modification of said system for the rural electrification throughout the county. For the countywide authorization, since all lines do and will carry at least one current of such voltage as it is practical for and customary used in distributing electricity to farms, completing the conditions as set forth in SDCL 312612 as amended for a period of 20 years. Canwall Electric Cooperatives Incorporated has agreed, if granted the franchise prayed for, that it will comply with the requirements of SDCL 3126 as amended. Application was heard by the Board of County Commissioners on the said County of Walworth on the 21st day of May of 2019 at 9:40 at the office of said board in the courthouse in the city of Selby, Walworth County, South Dakota, that due notice of said hearing having been given by mail in strict compliance with the requirements of law to all persons, firms, or cooperatives owning or operating transmission, telephone, and telegraph lines on or along any part of the highway or highway system in the county of Walworth, which existing, improved, and extended electrical lines of an applicant is to occupy in accordance with the terms of the provisions of the statutes of the state of South Dakota. No person, firm, or corporation has appeared in opposition to the granting of such application and petition. It is appearing to the satisfaction of the Board of County Commissioners that no differences have arisen or exist between the applicant, Canwall Electric Cooperative Incorporated, and any other the transmission, telegraph, and telephone line on or along any part of the said highway or highway systems, and it further appearing to the satisfaction of the board that construction, operation, and maintenance of the applicant's transmission distribution system as now installed, operated, and with additions through will not interfere with the maintenance and operation of any other line upon any part of the said highway or highway system. Now therefore, to be resolved that the Board of County Commissioners of the County of Walworth, State of South Dakota, that the right to construct, maintain, and operate poles and wires for the purpose of conducting and transmitting electricity for lights, heating, power purposes along, upon, under, across the public highways throughout the County of Walworth, state of South Dakota for a period of 20 years and after the due, therefore be and is hereby granted to said Canwall Electric Cooperative Incorporated, subject to the items and conditions of SDCL 31-26 as amended, and also subject to further responsible regulations as the legislature of state of South Dakota may hear and after prescribe. Foregoing resolution was introduced by Commissioner Walworth, isn't it? We move to its adoption, second by Commissioner. I'll need a motion for that.
You made a
I so
motion.
moved.
Yeah, Jim was going that first line. And then Jim's second.
I'll second.
Okay, got a motion on the floor and a second. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion passed.
That's it, thank you.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Thank you. I got a little words on that resolution.
You think? And we'll go to 16. Consider motion to approve alcoholic beverage renewal application for Holden Country Club. Need a motion for that?
I would so move.
Okay, got a motion on the floor, I need a second.
I second it.
Got a second, any more discussion?
How many is it? So we got Holden, Roberts, Holbert Country Club, and the campground, right?
Hogan's is a different kind of license. It's not a liquor license. It's just a on-off sale malt beverage in South Dakota farm wine.
They,
So it's not one of the liquor
No, no, this is
no,
different.
they gave theirs up a couple of years ago, I think it was.
That's what I was gonna ask, I thought they'd give it up.
They just got a beer license.
Yep, so they have this one now, it's $300.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion passed. Nyla.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You should all have a copy of my report. We've had a fairly busy April, as we always do. Do you have any questions? Happy to answer.
You really have 302,000 in checks in the office?
That was the last day of April, yes. Every day we take it to the bank.
I take a motion for that.
I so moved.
Okay, got a motion on the floor, I need a second.
Second.
Got a second. Any more discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. Motion passed.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nyla. 18, discussion regarding veteran service officer position and appointing board. You wanna talk on that, Davis?
I think the state picks the final one, but we go through them. I don't know if the commissioners have too much to do with it.
No, are you just gonna put a little committee together to recommend somebody? or-
Well, if you want me to, we'll do that.
I guess, I think you should, I guess. I just figured that you'd probably be on the board. What about like Bob Thomason?
Can be.
And what about Leo himself? I don't,
Yeah.
just suggesting.
Yeah,
Totally up to you.
yeah, I'll do that.
I just wanted to point out, we had an applicant from Campbell County,
Mhm.
and I did check with the state, and that's not an issue,
Yeah.
so I just wanted to point that out.
So you're gonna take care of that then?
Yes.
Yes, Jim.
Justin LaRoche said that the VFW and Legion would be glad to send a letter of recommendation to the board, so.
They wanna look at it too, Selby Legion and, you know, involve everybody. So, we'll look 'em up.
Okay.
Could you just make sure you have it in writing of who's on the board, or so?
Yeah, well, the guy from Selby?
I don't know, I just
me.
mentioned Bob.
Yeah, that's fine.
Just so we can have it on record, so.
Can I give that to you later?
Anything else on that? Josh?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Josh, can you provide these prior to the meeting so that I can have the copy for public?
Yes, I'll include you in that. You guys get our email copy?
I got mine, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll
okay.
include you on
Can
that
you get
email
it out
and then,
Okay.
or I can just bring it up to you. Yep.
I got mine. Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
I guess I just got a question for you, Justin. Again, looking at total days served and the total number of meals served for the month,
Yeah, it was roughly around 80 over.
looks like about 72 over.
Yeah, there was some days where we held for accountants again that we don't charge them, probably around 20 meals, and the rest were employees.
So we've got counties that stop here, we don't charge.
You know, we pick up warrants, if they get a warrant for other county, they don't get charged. That's something throughout the state that happens.
And vice versa.
Yeah, they
Mr.
don't
Schwammer, they don't charge
charge
me
us.
when they house for me.
So like,
Also, if they arrest someone on my warrant, let's say Pennington County, I don't get billed for that.
yeah,
It's just something we do within the state. Now felony stuff, yes, that jurisdiction gets billed.
Yeah, I just looking at the meal counts, looking at that, and divide that out by 3, we're looking at almost 24 days not billed out. Possibly, potentially that, if that's the case, but.
yeah. Yeah, we just don't
So
bill out for,
employees on that.
yeah. Yeah. And there's always eating over there.
Of these out-of-county inmates, days served, how many counties does that entail?
Just our surrounding area, it's gonna be like Corson, Dewey, Potter, Campbell, McPherson. just those, Sioux County, yeah, in North Dakota.
With a couple USMs in there, on federal holds overnight, usually a couple days. We've had a couple of them that extended because of snowstorms that couldn't get here to pick them up right away, so they were here for 5-6 days, but, those things, like I said, we're required by statute to, as long as I have room, that we hold for that period of time until they can get them out of here. So it's short term.
I guess my question would be, the two jail cars, they got just as many miles on it as the two sheriff cars?
I think the Tahoe's got around 98 now, 90, somewhere in there.
More miles for the month. 3,113 for one and 2,378 for the other. That's just about what the deputies are driving.
The one, the Tahoe I took to my,
We got,
The jail car's been, Kevin's been rotated down. That was Aaron Vogel's car. There's a lot of transport miles that were put on that. That's why that's so high. Right now it's the jail car. We use it still for transports and the short-term runs. If there's a medical appointment or stuff like that. So that vehicle's been rotated down out of the sheriff's office into that, because it got high miles on it. And I had the other car that had lower mileage on it. And that now has a computer in it and is Aaron's car, the other 2013.
Anybody else got any questions on his report? Okay.
Move on to the next one. Next item on the agenda, under our reports, there's several of these in succession. We'll address each one separately as it is. Consider motion to approve Leonard Smith to jail sergeant increase to $17 an hour at as of 5/13/2019.
I'll need a motion for that.
Nice of move.
Okay, I got a motion on the floor, I need a second.
second.
Got a second, any more discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion passed.
Next one is consider motion to approve Aaron Hammer to jail corporal at 25-cent increase from his current rate at this time as of 5/13/2019.
I'll need a motion for that. I got a motion on the floor, I need a second. Got a second, any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion passed.
The next one's for completion of a probationary period. Consider motion to approve Cato Weast of completed probation and a 50-cent increase per hour as of 5/12/2019.
I'll need a motion for that.
Nice of move.
Okay, got a motion on the floor, I need a second.
Listen,
Got a second. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion passed.
The next two items, we are back up to full staff. We had two of them leave. Consider motion to approve hire Justin Vance as full-time correctional officer as of 5/21/19. Today's date at 5/15 an hour. Or 15/15, not 5/15. Holy smokes, we're going backward, really bad.
I'll need a motion for that.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, I got a motion on the floor, I need a second.
I'll second.
Got a second, any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion passed.
Next one is consider motion to approve Jessica Caditz as correctional officer as of 5/28 at $15.15 an hour.
Okay, I'll need a motion for that.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, I got a motion on the floor, I need a second. Got a second, any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion passed.
Okay, next item. I'll send this around. It'd be the resignation of Regina Capriva, my secretary in my office. I'll read it to you. Dated May 13th, 2019. Dear Josh, Deb, and Casey, as of today's date, I, Regina Capriva, am returning in my resignation notice. I will be relocating to Pettibone, North Dakota on June 15th, 2019. My last day with Walworth County will be June 12th, 2019. I want to thank you all for not only making this job, but building a family. I have enjoyed my time here, and I will take this memory with me. Signed, Tina. It's always difficult to lose an employee. They do, especially in that position, they do a lot for me. They do a lot to keep that office going. A lot of paperwork with it. Like I said, she's gonna be missed.
Okay, I'll need a motion for that. Pardon me? Okay, got a motion on the floor, I need a second. Got a second. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion passed.
Can you hand that to Becky, please, for filing? Thank you. The next item on there is discussion and motion. I guess I'll explain myself a little bit. We've talked in the past, and I want to bring it up again. I did advertise already for part-time, possibly full-time hours. I am getting some, I put it on the Sheriff's Office Facebook, advertised with Dakota Radio Group, the newspaper, and also the job service site, Department of Labor. It is an important job in my office. There's a lot of things that go with that position. Like I said, it is part-time right now. Tina was working up to 32 hours in my office at times, just to keep afloat, and where I could keep her within that part-time status, because that's where we were at with it and what was decided. I want the commission to again consider, the commission board as a whole, consider making that position full-time. It'll make the job more appealing to the applicants that are out there that are applying for it. I'm getting some of them, probably half of them, that are asking what's the likeliness of it going full-time. And I said, I can't say on that right now, but I said I'm gonna talk, that's gonna be a talking point about the, for the position itself and trying to get it there. But I guess I would like the board to at least consider that. But right now, it is advertised for part-time, possibly full-time. I am getting some decent applicants. I am interviewing one today already for that position. But that individual is looking for full-time hours. She's one of the ones that asked me about it. So please consider that when considering the motion.
What's the commission feel about that?
Well, if he needs a full-time, he does.
Are we going, is this gonna be a rotating full-time like Tina was, or?
It would be full-time in my office, is what I would be asking the board to consider.
What we done when we put Tina full-time, and part-time in the assessor and part-time in registry, that actually cut hours for her in your office, right?
It cut a few hours, yeah. I mean, she's allowed 20 in there, and between the two offices, 10 and 10, so 20 to get her 40.
And you was using her about 30, did I understand that
30
right?
to 32.
It wasn't our understanding we were gonna try this for a year when we did this. I believe we can go back and we can look, that we were trying something different. So we're only 5 months into it or so. How do we know if something's gonna work if we disband it right away? What's the commission feel?
That's what, I mean, my opinion is if we're gonna replace Tina, replace her with the job that she was doing for now, because we had already agreed on making her full-time, make it more appealing, but give her 10 hours in the other two offices too. To replace her, is that what she was doing?
Yes, Jamie.
You're correct, Commissioner Schilling. Right now, all you have is a full-time position that's part-time sheriff, part-time register of deeds, and part-time equalization. If you want to just hire a part-time one, that needs to be created, which you're advertising for. Because right now, the only thing that's available is that full-time slot that Tina resigned from. So you are correct on that.
So is that gonna be part of your interview process, Josh, to say that this is gonna be part-time in here and part-time in the other two offices?
As the position sits, yes, that's how I'll have to conduct the interview with all the applicants.
Okay, so if that's the question, if that's the case, should there be somebody else doing the interviews with you? For these other two offices also?
I guess I don't have a problem with that. I mean, it's a matter of, I'm interviewing her for the sheriff's office portion of it, but yeah, I understand what you're saying. And I can see if the other ones are available to do the one at 4 o'clock today.
I guess went back to what Scott said, when we talked about this before and tried to discuss the fact that we hired her as a full-time deal to fill in different offices too. And I would like to see it see if we can't try and make it work with the part-time situation in your office and part-time in the other, just to see how it goes for the year, being that's kind of what we budgeted for.
Okay.
But I agree that the hiring process, I think, should be done hopefully with the other offices that are gonna be benefiting from the person, individual.
No, I agree with that. I don't disagree. Like I said, and we most certainly can do that. I'll just have to talk to the two department heads and see if they're available at 4 o'clock to start that process. Okay. Moving on. Discussion regarding jail maintenance. I put that on there, with the rains and stuff, we had some issues with the roof. Scott looked at it yesterday. Did some work up there yesterday. I think it's something we will need to look at in the future for sure.
I am in the process of getting another quote from Up City. I just haven't swung through yet.
Did you happen to ask any of them, maybe Dwayne or somebody knows, why is the rock on there?
I haven't been able to ask that question yet, Scott.
I can ask him.
I guess I haven't asked Dwayne.
I think it'd be a fairly easy fit. Do you know why rock is on there?
Well,
On the rubber roofs?
basically to hold rubber membrane down.
I mean, it'd be an easy fix. I think fix the one spot.
And
But with all that rock on it, you can't even see where it's at. There's
Rock
so
is
much
strictly
dirt
on there
up
to
there.
hold the rubber membrane down.
But I mean, it's just, there's so much mud up there now because of the,
Do we know when that last was patched or fixed? Do we have any?
About 3 years ago, I got the first quote, and they patched it then around the air conditioner, I believe.
that's the patch
I
I
don't
fixed that was coming off
Yeah,
yesterday.
okay. And that's the only one they did at that time. I don't know if there's another one. But that's the one they did then. And that quote back then was 20 grand, I believe, if I remember right. That was 3 years ago. So I told them to swing by. They're going through Mulbridge, so they're just gonna swing by one day and give me another one.
Is there any warranty from these guys that patched this thing or done this stuff before?
They didn't even charge me. They was just up there looking to see where the leak was coming from, and they just quickly patched it for me at that time 3 years ago.
Because truthfully, there's really not a lot up there. I mean, there's 2 vent pipes and that big unit. Otherwise, hell, there's nothing else up there except for all rock. And then you can't see nothing. It's just, be nice if that was off there, then you could see what the problem really was, but there's no question it was probably leaking right where that one that I worked on yesterday.
And I still think there's some give in it. The building's still going like this and, cause it's definitely, you can tell that on the stress fractures on the walls in some areas, the movement of the building. So I'm sure that's putting tension on it too when it does happen. I mean, it's on. But just FYI, it's temporarily fixed right now, but we should look at that as a maintenance issue in the future on whatever we decide to do with things.
Yes.
On those rubber roofs, they're actually really quite, I'm not a big fan of flat roofs anyway in South Dakota, but rubber roofs are probably one of the best membranes there is on a flat roof structure. Because it's just a big balloon over the top of your roof. So there's really limited spots that could be leaking. Any place where you've got pipes coming through or an air conditioning unit or something that's sitting under. But, so I mean, as far as fixing it, probably won't be a big deal because you can kind of target where those areas are because they really don't deteriorate too easily.
But I mean, wonder how big of a deal it would be to take that rock off there, at least then I could see what you got. I suppose that'd be a big,
But the whole idea of the rock on that is to keep it from acting like a balloon when the wind blows. You get underneath it and it takes off.
but you know, when I had the bowling alley, that building 100 feet long and 30 feet wide, there was no rock on that roof. I'm just saying,
I know it does collect dust and dirt and fills into the stuff, so you end up having a
the
mess
eave
of it.
trough, the northeast eave trough, that was plugged, so I opened that, so.
Yeah, I'm not the expert. I learned stuff talking to you yesterday when you were talking about the past stuff that you had to do, and I learned that from.
I would definitely have somebody stop by and, I mean, it shouldn't be that big of a patch item, but.
Cause otherwise, actually, the rubber looks very good up there, it does.
They're
To me.
not a cheap membrane, but I mean, it's actually a pretty positive roof covering for a flat roof.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Did you ever get another list of all the other maintenance issues that you if I had that one time.
The one I talked to you about?
Yeah.
Not the complete list, cause I'm still trying to, put that together, Kevin. It's,
And the amount that it's gonna cost to fix all that.
I wanna make sure I get the, and that's one of the quotes that we're waiting on, so, hopefully, I'll say next meeting, hopefully next meeting or the next one, for sure I'll have that. The individual had to come back and do some measuring and stuff, but, I didn't have everything, so I didn't prepare that and email it to you yet. Wanted to make sure I had everything.
Okay.
Anybody have anything for Josh? Justin?
Thank you.
Number 20, Highway Department, discussion regarding outsourcing culvert replacement and road repair. When I said it last time, I was told by somebody, but I called the chair from Campbell County and no, they did not have Logan do anything. So whoever informed me that they had seen Campbell County had somebody, but that's irregardless. What are we gonna do? I mean, are we gonna try to hire somebody to help with some of that? What do we wanna do as a commission here? Some of that has to get done.
Do we have a list of all the culverts that need to be replaced yet?
There's that down there, I don't know exactly when, there's a map and everything that has it all on there.
Was that part of Blake's final report to replace all
Yeah,
these
the
culverts?
culverts and the roads.
So we got a list of how
Yeah.
many culverts and stuff?
And you just have to count them all up. I mean,
Well, I'm sure that was part of that stuff that had to be
Well,
submitted to
Amanda might
FEMA.
have. She might
Sure
have
there
that.
would be a
That
list in
might
there.
even have all that too.
I seen the map and I seen all the pictures and everything.
I know we got a map down there for Amanda with the roads that are closed with water. That's the one we have. If she has anything else, I guess.
But I guess as a commission, we gotta decide here, if we're gonna have somebody help us or what are we gonna do?
I would think the first thing we need to do is get a highway superintendent.
Okay?
And I did find out that the entire board can call executive session and interview candidates and come out and take no action until the next meeting. That's what Hughes County just did. I'm gonna say the other day, it might have been 2 months ago, for their sheriff. Hughes County, the entire board interviewed for a new sheriff, because Mike Lyko went to work for the state, as I understand it.
That's that man right there.
Again, as long as you don't do any action coming out of the meeting. Is my understanding, so.
I would think that should be our number one priority, to get a highway superintendent down there. As I understand it, there's a whole lot more that goes into it than just calling somebody up and telling them to come change a culvert. Lots of paperwork and regulations that have to go along with it.
And when do we want to?
How many applications have we got?
2.
Did we advertise that just statewide or local?
Local. This time. Last time it was statewide.
Pardon?
Last time it was statewide. This
Oh.
time it was advertised local.
Do you wanna advertise it longer?
And I can put it statewide if that's what you guys want.
I guess I would like to see that, but time is, in my mind, time is of the essence. We need to get going. We should have had some interviews probably by now.
What's the feeling of the commission? How, do you want it to go statewide or what do you wanna do?
How many did we get from out of the local area going statewide last time?
That wasn't a long ways away.
That was McPherson County.
What do you feel, Jim?
I guess I would, because I don't know who the applicants are that applied, but I sure wouldn't, I don't think it would hurt to advertise statewide for a couple of weeks and then cut it off in 2 weeks and have an interview right shortly thereafter. What do we got? Just 2 weeks to our next meeting, isn't it?
Be June 4th.
That wouldn't hardly be enough time to get many applicants back, I don't think. When you advertise statewide, when does that come out? Is that like now, or do you have to wait till next week for it to come out?
It'll be next week before it comes out.
Yes.
If we are planning on doing the interview process in executive session, could we look at the applicants we've got? Maybe one of the guys or whatever, this applicant is good. See if we can speed the process up. I don't know what your guys' feelings are, but if that would be an option,
It should.
I
I
would
think
say
it
the
would.
sooner the better if we can do it. Maybe we should look at those applicants and,
If we could get those done before the next meeting.
yeah, if we can
We
do
don't
that.
have anything else come in by the
We
meeting.
could sure do that, if one of them we think fits the bill, then we could have it on the agenda for next meeting to hire them.
Is that something can we do that, go in executive session to look at those?
You're gonna have to schedule a meeting, schedule the executive session, and then that's it. And then as a group, I would assume someone's gonna make a recommendation, and then at the next meeting, you're gonna have to have on the agenda to hire that person if that's the route that you wanna go.
So we can't go into executive session today and look at those apps.
I don't,
I would schedule a meeting.
So then we're looking out, anyway, for, as far as that goes, then I guess maybe we could look at
Well-
that advertising, if we're not gonna save any time.
if we do it today, we could have an executive session on Thursday. Just gotta have 24 hours notice. Becky could have.
Oh,
that
have a special meeting, you're saying?
That's what I would say, yeah.
But if we're gonna try to get
Why
it
don't
on
we
paper,
do it, why don't we do it like the 30th?
trying to go statewide, we're gonna have to. have some
I
time.
kind of agree with Marion. Let's look at the ones we have now and if, you know, if we want to have a meeting, let's just say Thursday. And we don't, I
Well,
don't
we
know
do
what
it
the
on,
proper word would be.
well, we do it on the 30th, because that way, if we did it on the 30th, then we could see if there's anything coming in.
That would be fine,
We
just,
can get two done, and we'd still have time to get it on the agenda for the 4th.
But wouldn't you wanna do it on the 23rd so that you know if you wanna advertise statewide further?
what,
The sooner the
that day,
better.
the 21st, yeah.
Yeah.
Makes no difference to me what day we have a meeting on.
Truthfully, I think you'd be better off on Thursday, that way it's gonna give you time to put it on statewide, if it, otherwise you're just
I think the sooner the better.
thinking better off going on the 23rd.
That's fine.
And what time would you guys like it, 9?
I'd say 9 o'clock.
This coming Thursday.
Yeah. Okay.
When-
Does that work for you, Davis? It's gonna be raining anyway, so you won't be out far.
I don't know, I got an appointment.
Oh,
You won't be able to be here Thursday.
No,
Friday?
no, I got an appointment so far,
I said Friday, or are you gonna be down there for a couple days?
up and down there. But, you know, I don't have to be here.
Thursday is the soonest we could have it. Well, I guess we
Shoot
could
for
have it
Thursday.
tomorrow afternoon if we posted it this afternoon. When are you leaving?
Wednesday.
Oh. Yeah.
Let's just go on Thursday.
I can give you, I'll let you look over the applicants so that if you have any
Okay.
input.
Let's do it on Thursday. Thursday at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, we can call you also, if you're available at 9 on Thursday.
Okay.
Right?
Third.
All right, we'll move on to, yeah, it was out there. Just yet. You can
Hello.
Sit down.
Good morning.
Morning, guys.
Is it still morning?
So I'm Chad Morgan with Butler Machinery. I guess the reason I wanted to come was to maybe clarify the extended warranty purchase that was done on the 140M motor grader, the 2014 machine. When the original warranty, here, let me hand these out actually. What do you guys got? That one? No? Okay. So what I did here, guys and gals, is I put together just a little packet to maybe help clarify everything. Originally, this machine, when it was purchased with 5 years, 5,000 hour full machine warranty, which includes mileage also. That was coming to an end. The 5-year maturity date on this, if you look, I guess the first page talks about the upgrading the 60-month, 5,000 hour Premier to 84 months, 7,000 hours. That's the document that Becky there signed. But if you look at the third page, the reason I printed this out is for us to extend warranty, we have to open a work ticket. And this will clearly state, the problem that we had about a month left before the 5 years was up, but we were running out of hours. The hours on this, if you look on the, kind of in the left-hand side, the third line down, the initial SMU, which is service meter units, is what that stands for, which that's CAT terms, basically that means hours in the machine. Right below it is 4,998 hours. So that's the reason why this was a rush to get it purchased. I am usually notified, our system's pretty good about notifying us 2 months before warranty ends. But with your guys' winter that you're having and with all the hours that were put on, all of a sudden I got a notice that, hey, the warranty is coming to an end like real soon. So if I remember correctly, I got a hold of Dewey or somebody and wanted to find out how many hours were on this machine. And they told me, you know, it was like 49.90 or something like that. And so we had to put a rush on if you guys wanted to buy this extended warranty or not. So that's where I got a hold of Scott then, if I remember correctly, and said that if you guys want to buy extended warranty on this, we need to do it right now, because the process is, guys and gals, is that once the warranty ends, then the price of extended warranty goes way up, higher. Plus there's we have to send out a service person, and you'd fully get charged with all that, because they'd have to do a full inspection. So if we get it done, if we get the purchasing done before the warranty comes to an end, either by the date or the hours, it can save you a lot of money that way. So that's why I guess it was kind of an urgency, well, definitely an urgency, because you only had 2 hours left on the machine. And you can see that on the 5th page there, that the original warranty, was for 60 months, 5,000 hours. So that's what this machine was purchased with. Now, this machine was also purchased with a off the Spink County Highway bid, and that bid was for a buyback on the machine. And the machine buyback is a 7 years or 7,500 hours on the buyback of $150,000. So we have to honor that buyback no matter what. So if you wanted to have us buy it back in 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 hours, it doesn't matter. We honor that number. But that's the most that we'll pay, or I shouldn't say that, because the last machine, a year ago, we paid more, because we opened it up for bids, and, so we bid higher than $150,000 for it, a year and a half ago. But that's why, after the 7 years, or 7,500 hours, whichever comes first, we will honor that $150,000 buyback on the machine. So, and I guess I wanted to present this to all you guys because it's, to add some clarity to it, I guess, maybe help you understand, and if you got any questions, you can definitely ask me. The last couple of pages is just the invoice when you guys bought it back in, 2014. The delivery on it was in February, but the invoice date shows March 4th. That's just normal. So,
Do the commissioners have any questions for Chad on that? Hear none? Thanks, Chad.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
okay. And don't let it go over its hours. We got a county right now that's got a machine that's got 7,400 and some hours on it, and it's only a 5-year-old machine. And so, because they've had a lot of bad weathers over there, it's way over by West River. So it does
Once
happen.
you get to that point, you could buy it back early.
Yes.
As long as you don't go over.
As long as you don't go over the 7,500 hours, then yes. So, but, we're usually pretty good about keeping an eye on your guys' machines because you guys, are a good customer of ours. So we like to keep an eye on everything and make certain that everything's in the right condition and such, and, so yeah, we shouldn't have a problem. But,
Because like now, we might have 2 on the same rotation. If you bought back one early, then we'd get back on the regular rotation.
yes, yep. So, but you got 2 more years of warranty that you bought, which includes mileage and everything. So,
All right, thanks, Chad.
thanks,
Thank you.
thanks, guys.
Let's go to 21, discussion regarding landfill supervisor position.
I put that on there because I was getting a lot of slack of 12,000 yearly. They took it as a 3-month. Okay. So.
I
that's
guess
why
I
I brought it up.
my motion, I tried to make it clear, evidently it wasn't that clear, because I think somebody else asked me, Mulberry Paper had $4,000 a month salary, and I tried to make that pretty clear that it was a 12-month, $12,000 salary that we will pay her for 3 months of that, until we see what the position looks like and how it's gonna work out. So it's $1,000 a month, not $4,000. Sorry if I muddied the water at that motion.
Anything else with that? Hear none, old business.
I received a letter from the town of Java regarding her building. I don't know if you wanna read that. I think you received that too.
dated May 16, 2019. Okay, they got the two properties, Javin Original Lot 4 and north half of Lot 5, Block 3, Main Street property. And Java Original Lot 12, Block 6, Milwaukee Street property. The Java Board of Trustees have requested I contact you regarding the vacant building owned by Walworth County located in Java. It is understanding the Board of Trustees that these buildings were to be demolished or removed. In August of 2018, Ryan Dayton, Walworth County Assistant, informed the Board of Trustees the buildings were going to be demolished and the county was waiting for the permits from the DNR. Realizing Mr. Dayton is no longer employed with Walworth County, the Board of Trustees is inquiring as to the current plans of demolish of the buildings. I guess that would be me, but, actually it would've got done this winter, but until our winter decided to freeze, so 4 feet down, it would, took forever to dig that hole. And then, the spring hasn't been very pleasant, so I don't think we could get a truck in or out of there. And then the other truthfully, part of it is with the other property owned by another person that's against that building of ours. So Jamie, I don't know if you know any more than I know on what's happening with that property. I know I talked to the individual probably last Friday.
I think we're all on the same page as far as, I don't think she has much for resources to remove that building. I don't think there would be any, issues if we take ours down and have to do some damage. I don't think there's going to be any real liability issues, but we still need to be able to get somewhere to take the rubble, which is not going to be available for, well, due to the weather. And the other thing you need to probably look at too, which I'm sure you thought of, is we already have our highway department staff on a lot of overtime right now, so. It kind of I know the plan was this winter, but like you said, the weather kind of created a huge problem with us dealing with that, so. The only recommendation is that we would do it when we can, and I don't think there's a better answer, do you?
I guess I don't. I mean, I guess we can call somebody and have it removed for the county, but without a doubt, you better look for 40 grand. I don't think I'm out of line saying that it's gonna be at least 40 grand to remove those two structures.
You're probably underestimating, honestly.
Probably.
I think you are. It's one of those situations where we had talked previously is the only real cost-effective way to do it is for the county to do it. Or else we're gonna have to spend a ton of money, like Commissioner Schilling said. I think the only response is we can get to it when we get to it, because right now, like you had stated, we have a lot of culvert issues, we have a lot of road issues, and we have a lot of issues that are still trying to catch up from the winter, which is still around us yet with closed roads and flooding and things like that, so I wish you could give them a better response, but I don't think we have the funds right now to privately have someone do that, and I would agree with you that probably the best way is to wait for us to do it.
Just a second, because I'll be honest, I was over at the buildings last week. The other building, not the county's on Main Street, that one is, the footings are falling in, there's no question about it. Not the one the county owns, but they're so close, I mean, I know something's, but it's gotta be done.
I guess that was my question, with this other building so close, if that's crumbling, where's our liability fall?
It's pretty limited, just because I don't think that building has any value itself either, wouldn't you agree?
Right, I mean,
It's,
it's not as if the building's gonna fall in, I'm just saying that some of the footings are falling away on that building, but
any damage,
it's not gonna go nowhere.
Any damage that we would probably do would be very, our liability would be very low just because the value of that building itself is probably close to a negative number anyhow, due to the fact that it's no longer usable, it's a dilapidated structure, and that it really doesn't have any value other than the negative value that it's gonna be to remove that structure. So as far as our liability, I really don't see a lot of exposure there, just because it's, I mean, how much damage can you do to a dilapidated building? Because it's not being used, and it's not being housed for anything, you know, there's not expensive property in there or anything like that.
They've got stuff up that's, so nobody can walk up and, you know, fall in there.
Right.
It's all
And I would,
barricaded or whatever.
I think Commissioner Schilling would probably agree that it's probably a nuisance property too. Don't you think?
Oh, absolutely.
So I really don't think there's a lot of liability on us if we do any damage removing that.
But I will say, I think the best time to do it is late fall. I mean, I can't foresee that we're gonna get in there for a long time. And I would say, I mean, we dug a hole, I dug a hole for Ryan on that property, we're gonna bury that. I dug it 15 feet deep, and we never, it passed. I mean, they got the permit and everything, we do. But I'll guarantee there's water there now.
And how is your road in there, and with heavy equipment, it's just gonna tear that up, isn't it? With it being
We ain't
wet.
gonna get in there.
I was just gonna say, we can end up replacing the streets of Selby by going in and doing
Yeah.
stuff, or Java, if we go in and do stuff.
I would agree with you that right now is not the time to do it. Only thing I can say is maybe respond back saying, look, we understand, our plan was this winter. As you know, this winter was extremely late and extremely difficult on all of us. We just don't have the time or resources right now, but we're not trying to neglect you. We will get it done as soon as we can, something like that. If that's acceptable to you folks.
Well, I'll go to the meeting and just explain it to them, if that's what you want.
Is there any time frame on where we're gonna dump it? You said Ryan got all the permits, there's no time frame?
I mean, that permit doesn't last forever. I mean, we'll have to get it, and I'll have Jamie look at it to make sure that, we might just have to contact them and,
I would assume, yeah, if it expires, they'll just come back out and recertify us to make sure that it's all right for that, because there isn't any changes to it, so, other than them reissuing the permit to dump. Because all we're dumping is construction rubble there, so none of that will change, don't you think?
right. I'll go talk to them if that's what you guys want to. I don't see when else we can do it in. I mean, like I said, it's gonna be a bundle of money if we get a hire done.
I don't think it's financially feasible right now for us to hire that.
Okay, I will do that then. I guess, one thing on old business, tried talking with, on Road 319. I had a surveyor come in and he shot it. The road is within a few inches of where it's supposed to be. What's deceiving is the width of the road, but I think what's deceiving, if you've been out there and looked at that road, what it is I got the prints here. What it is that when they made, I'll call them the approaches, when they were supposed, like going to a building, I don't think it's the right term, but that's what I'm talking about. What it is that I haven't been able to get a hold of Mike with Clark, that they didn't do that. They were supposed to follow the road. That's why if you go by the Selby Motel, how it goes up like this and then back down, that wasn't supposed to do that. It was supposed to, it's here in black and white, it was supposed to be flat. And that's what's creating the problem at Dromes, where Dromes building gets full of water. I never read these before until an engineer read them and said, this is how it is. This is how they do it. It's not how it is. So, I don't know what you, I was gonna talk with Mike on Sunday, but he had graduation, we were gonna go over this, but what do you wanna do? It's a drawn-out process, but.
I-
Yes,
I talked to Mike on Sunday and, or not Sunday, yesterday, because you and I had talked. And yeah, I don't know what you want to do, to be honest, but the height is
Yeah,
pretty much where it should be. I don't think a couple of inches really matters on the height view.
no, truthfully,
It's more on something, another issue that popped up from what we originally thought, right?
right, truthfully, what I think, in my opinion, that even though some of them are wrong on how they drew it here, I think that those can be overlooked, truthfully, that's just my opinion, that they're not gonna hurt nothing. But the one that's hurting is by drones back there, in the back. That there area is where the flooding is all the time, where drone has a hell of a time.
Did they give any reason why they didn't follow?
Actually, it was just last week when we got this all figured out, and I tried getting with Mike. Might have been a few days before, but anyhow, when we looked at it all, and then he read it, and once you look at it, you know what you're looking for now. It's obvious how it's supposed to be, but it's not quite like that. Like I said, the other ones, yes, Jim?
Go ahead.
I just said the other ones, the ones that are wrong, I don't think they need to be tore out. I think they'll be fine. It's not 100% right, but they're not gonna hurt nothing. The only one, like, to me, that's hurting is the one behind Selby Oil, that one there, and then the one that goes to his old oil building. That's where the issue is.
You got like 5 of them total.
Yeah.
So they just replace the 2.
I think if they would just do something with the two.
Do you have a ballpark on what that cost is or anything right now?
Like I said, I just figured this out, and I just wanted to visit with Mike about it. I don't know if, like I said, if you don't know what you're looking at here.
Well, if it isn't the way it's drawn in there should be a change order,
There is no change orders.
you know.
Well, I mean, I've got all the change orders, we all do, have all the change orders, there's nothing to do with anything like that.
Because the contractor should have, or anyway, done our way.
Because honestly, because most of them are done the way they're done. This one is different. Yes, Jim?
Just for clarification for everybody, originally, the issue was that there was some question on whether the road was set much higher than, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I just want to explain to everyone, that the road was set much higher than the previous road. And then there was some requests for, because I'm not an engineer and Commissioner Schilling's not an engineer, to verify the height of the top of the road that was put in. And from this paper, which I don't know how to read, but sounds like it's very close to the original height of the road, so that became a non-issue. What now is the issue is that the plans, and correct me on this part here, that the plans for the edges of the road, because that road is much wider than one that was put in, just because they tend to be when we go from gravel to what they actually, the measurements are. Those edges were not done as they were designed on the plans. Those, is that right, Commissioner Schilling?
Yeah, pretty much.
And that's kind of where it's changed, because a lot of people thought that it was the height of the road was the issue which was causing the runoff, and now actually it's the plans were not necessarily followed correctly with regard to the approaches coming into the road. Does that kind of sum it up best? Just to clarify for everyone.
Do you understand what I'm talking about there, Jim, right in front of you?
No, I have looked at them before.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, so,
I would just make sure Mike gets out here and takes a look at it.
And most generally, the contractors build it according to the plans.
Yeah, but if you would take this and you'd go out there, you would very much see
So-
that it's not.
No, and-
Not some of the things, I'm
And
saying.
then like the culvert issue down there south of Itasca, Morris has got it documented, they put it in according to the plans. And I would think these guys should have done the same thing,
Well, it's like,
but somebody evidently,
it's because honestly, from what the state engineers say, that this is out of the ordinary. Most roads are done the way that is. But this one was really not. And they probably just, how they normally do it. This here, it was not done like that. It was not supposed to be done that way. So, yes.
Isn't that, if that's the case and you didn't do these approaches the way it was drawn, is that not Clark Engineering's responsibility to catch this?
Well, that's why I've been trying to get with Mike.
Well, and that's my and I just want to get clarification, is that the plans were designed right, it's just that the work was not done properly as per the plans, is that kind of?
Well, that's what I wanted to ask Mike, or did you guys change them, but we didn't have no change order or nothing. There was no change order, it had to do with, okay, I will call it the approach. I know that's the wrong word, but.
That's what I would call it too, is the approach, so. So as far as right now, the county's issue is that the plans were drawn correctly, the plans were just not followed correctly on those 6 approaches, which there's only one that we have a concern with.
Two,
Two,
they're right side by side.
Right,
And I
right.
think it, like I said, to me, the other ones, even if they're wrong, that's just my opinion, that they'll be fine. They're not gonna hurt anything. But the other, just them 2 are the ones that are just, yes.
We should probably notify Sharp then, since we are withholding funds, is that right? That's probably the main reason is why we're withholding funds from them, to figure out what's going on with this portion.
I haven't talked to him since I did find this out, which hasn't been
Because
very
when
long ago.
Because I know when I talked to Mike yesterday at Clark, I didn't know any of this, but he was talking about we should probably give them notice of our withholding reasons, so. Because I know someone from Sharps had contacted him, so we should probably, do you want me to write that?
Do you wanna do that and send them a letter?
And I'll get with you to make sure it's right, as far, is that all right?
Yes, I'll show it to you right
And
on.
then,
I can show it all.
does, do we have mailing and stuff for Sharp's address and stuff?
Yep, I can get you that.
Like I said, the rest of them I think will be fine, they're not hurting nothing, it's just the 2 by drones, it would be a little bit of money for them, but I think they could fix it very easily, so.
Change that drainage coming around that building.
Right, that would change a lot of it right there, back to the way it was. I'll show it to you, Jamie, on there, and then you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Anybody else have any old business? Yes, Kevin?
That other culvert out on Sitka Road, I noticed they was out there working on it. Is that, I don't think that's completed, is it? It's still running underneath.
Yes.
Any timeline on getting them back out here, or?
Well, I was gonna talk to Mike at the same time about that one. Amanda and I we were out there with the federal roads, and they wanted to look at it, and nope, the water is going under it. Yes.
Is there concern that it's going to wash out with the continued rains, or are we not that concerned yet?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't foresee that at all.
Because it's
Going
supposed to
down where it's
rain.
going to.
I mean, it's rained quite a bit, and it's supposed to continue raining, I think, as a forecast over the next week or so, isn't it?
Actually, there's always somebody calling in, so somebody goes out there quite often and fills it in, so. I don't,
Are you saying concerned about the thing collapsing
totally out.
underneath or something.
Yeah, that's my concern is if,
Somebody driving into a problem.
well, if it gets weakened enough where someone with heavy equipment and the equipment causes a collapse of those culverts due to the fact that they're washed out, or we get a bad storm and they wash out, and before we know it, somebody,
They'll collapse, they'll just get pushed down
okay,
and it'll.
I think it's.
that was my concern, that it was
There's
going
11
to.
sections in there.
And I don't know, like I said, I'm not an engineer, my concern is that things are really wet right now, and it sounds like they're going to get wetter, and so if that was a concern, maybe we would think about.
No, I think it's just got a path right underneath, cause you can just go on the west side and walk to the east side, and looks like it's almost going straight underneath, so I don't think there's an issue like that.
Okay.
Anything else?
Any idea what we're gonna do at the jail with your bid or?
I talked to Josh yesterday, and, I was gonna call him yesterday, but had too many sumps to put in, and tell him he's gotta change that back to what Josh and I had drawn up. We'd drawn it up, sent it to him, but he went way out of the boundaries on that, would you say, Josh? On this, how he ballooned it up?
From what we sent in, yes.
Right. But I did not have time yesterday to call him.
Understandable.
Anything else? New business? Yes.
I received a proposal from Camel Electric, says labor and material to trench a new power line, to the fuel tanks. It's been on the highway, I don't know who requested this, I don't know who should approve it, we don't have a highway superintendent, so it just came to my office and it's $1,500 for labor and materials,
I got no idea.
if you wanna look into it.
Nobody said anything. Any other new business? Yes.
I wasn't real happy that my agenda item wasn't put on the agenda. It appears that if somebody wants to come in here and bash our sheriff or our state's attorney, we'll put them right at the front of the crowd, but if someone from my district wants to question the commission on something, we omit them. And that's all I got to say.
Well, it had nothing to do with anybody in particular. We, and Jamie can vouch for that when we, so that that wouldn't be happening no more. That was a law that you don't open the meeting like, you can't open it like that. We never done that before, and that's actually was in there. So that's why that happened when it did. Anything else? Hearing none, I'd take a motion to adjourn. A motion on the floor, any second? All in favor, say aye.
All right.
Motion carries.